Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Red True Crime, where we uncover the darkest stories that shake our world. And this is not for shock value, but to honor the victims and demand justice. And I will say for tonight, viewer discretion is advised. This episode covers extreme violence against a pregnant woman and a mass shooting at a child's party. And if that is too heavy for you, skip ahead or come back later. Um, yeah. So, like I said, skip ahead or come back later. So today, we are diving into two unrelated but equally devastating tragedies from late 2025. Cases that have left communities reeling and families shattered. First, the unspeakable murder of 22-year-old Rebecca Park in rural Michigan, where her own mother allegedly cut her unborn baby from her womb. Then, the Stockton birthday party shooting in California, where mass gunmen turned a toddler celebration into a slaughterhouse, killing four innocents, including three kids. These stories remind us how fragile life is and how urgently we need to change. So stick around for the full timelines, victim tributes, and latest updates. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and that bell for more true crime deep dives on Red True Crime. Let's begin with Rebecca's story. Rebecca K. Park was a 22-year-old from small town Manton, Michigan, a place of quiet force. Put her back on here. Place of quiet force and tight knit families. At 38 weeks pregnant, she was glowing with excitement for her baby boy. Rebecca was described by friends as a kind hearted, resilient, and fiercely devoted to her growing family. She already had two young sons and worked odd jobs, loved the outdoors, and dreamed of a fresh start away from her turbulent past. But on November 3rd, 2025, that dream turned into a nightmare. So let's break down the timeline because in true crime, the details matter. So around 11:45 a.m. on November 3rd, Rebecca arrived at the home of her biological mother, Courtney Bartholomew, 40, and stepfather Bradley Bartholomew, which I don't think I have a picture of him here right this moment, in Boone Township, Wexford County, about 200 miles northwest of Detroit. Now, what started as a visit spiraled into horror. Now, according to prosecutors, Bartholomew's had been plotting this for days. They allegedly lured Rebecca there under false pretenses, then forced her into a vehicle. From there, they drove her deep into the Manistee National Forest, a vast, shadowy wilderness spanning over 1 million acres. Now, once isolated, that's when the torture began. Wexford County prosecutor Johanna Carey laid it out chillingly in court. Mr. Bartholomew brought Rebecca to their home, forced her into another vehicle, and took her into the woods where they stabbed her, forced her to lie on the ground while they cut her baby out, ultimately causing her death and the death of the baby. The couple, unable to have children of their own, reportedly researched C-sections online and planned this as a twisted way to claim Rebecca's unborn son. Stabbed repeatedly, Rebecca bled out on the forest floor, and the Bartholomews then dumped her body and fled. Rebecca was due any day, on November 6th to be exact, and her due date came and went with no word. On November 4th, that's when the searching began. The next morning, Rebecca's fiancé, Richard Failer, which is this guy right here, um, Richard Failer, 43, reported her missing. Friends and family rallied, plastering flyers across Wexford County. Now, Rebecca's phone went dark, her social media silent, and then the whispers started. As family drama boiled over. Rebecca had a rocky relationship with her mom, marked by years of estrangement and custody battles. Now, Courtney had given up. Put her back on there. There we go. Courtney had given her up young, but stayed in her life sporadically. Now, enough to know about the pregnancy. Um, Her adoptive mother, Stephanie Park, later revealed she'd spent years trying to shield Rebecca from her biological mom, who she knew was dangerous. Now, volunteers from Rebecca's Voice, a grassroots group, scoured the woods daily. They held vigils, they protested outside the Bartholomew's home, and even confronted Courtney directly. Now, one organizer, Stacy Davis, Bradley's estranged sister, who is the sister of Courtney's husband, later told reporters they wanted a baby bad, and this was their sick plan. Now, on November 23rd, protests erupt. Tensions peaked when Rebecca's Voice staged a 12-hour blockade outside the Boone home. Dozens of cars lined the streets with signs Justice for Rebecca and Baby Park. We are her voice. Now, Courtney, meanwhile, was posting bizarre alibis on Facebook. Videos of her son claiming she was home all night, captioned my alibi the night my daughter went missing. She even accused Rebecca's sister, Kimberly Park, 21, of foul play. And that would be the other lady right here. So she even accused her of foul play in a podcast interviews with private messages. Oh God. And then after 22 grueling days on November 25th, heartbreak struck. Volunteer searchers in the Manistee National Forest stumbled on a woman's remains near South 21 and a half Road in Boone Township, just miles from where Rebecca was last seen. Now, the body matched her descriptions: 5'5", 140 pounds, pregnant, but something was terribly wrong. An autopsy later confirmed the baby was gone and cut out violently. The forest, once a place of peace for Rebecca, became her grave. Sheriff's deputies and Michigan State Police swarmed the site. The community, already bonded in grief, was trauma bonded, as one volunteer put it. Vigils swelled with hundreds lighting candles for Rebecca and her lost son. Now, between November 26th and November 29th, there was an arrest, there's been autopsies, all this has happened. So the autopsy on November 29th sealed it. Rebecca died from multiple stab wounds and exsanguination, which is blood loss from the botched extraction. The baby perished in utero from the trauma. So the baby they wanted so badly because they didn't know what the heck they were doing, they ended up killing him in the process. Hours later, Courtney was arrested at her home, and Bradley turned himself in the next morning, but the net widened. Richard Failer, who is Rebecca's fiance, who's the gentleman in this picture, was nabbed on drug charges. 2 counts of delivering meth, possibly linked to the home environment. And Kimberly Park, charged with tampering with evidence, lying to police, and filing a false report. Prosecutors say she fabricated the stories, blaming the Bartholomews to cover tracks, including claims Bradley struck Rebecca, causing a seizure. All 4 of the Bartholomews, Failer, and Kimberly sat in Wexford County Jail, bonds sky high, $1 million for Failer, $750,000 for Kimberly, and no bail for the accused killers. So her mother, her biological mother, and her bio mom's husband, they have no bail. So arraignment day packed the Cadillac courthouse, Cadillac County, and Judge Corey Wiggins read the charges like a death knell. For Courtney and Bradley, first-degree premeditated murder, felony murder, torture and confinement, conspiracy to torture, and assault on a pregnant woman causing miscarriage. Conspiracy to that assault, unlawful imprisonment, and moving a dead body. Each carries life without parole. And Prosecutor Carey did not hold back. They conducted research, created a plan. This is truly horrific homicide. involving unimaginable suffering. End quote. The gallery, filled with Rebecca's voice supporters, gasped, cried, sobbed as the details emerged. Courtney's lawyer begged for house arrest due to her disabilities. Mm. Denied. Bradley stared blankly. No pleas entered yet. Michigan AG Dana Nessel's office is assisting in the prosecution. He signed this case as national level heinous. So, as of December 6th, bonds for Failer and Kimberly were lowered, leading to their release, sparking outrage from the supporters. Communities are rallying with the fundraisers. A GoFundMe for Rebecca's two surviving sons has raised over $5,000, cared for by her adoptive parents. The case exploded on social media with hashtag Justice for Rebecca trending nationwide, and preliminary exams are set for December 16th. So, Rebecca's loved ones remember her laugh, her hugs, her unbreakable spirit, a friend told Local 4 News, and she was so excited for that baby. Nursery ready, names picked. This rips your soul. And as the trial looms, Wexford County, population 33,000 people, grapples with betrayal in its ranks. Was it jealousy? Was it desperation? We'll watch closely. And if you have any tips, contact Wexford Sheriff's Office at 231-779-3411. Now, side note, I found this as I was doing my research on this. Somebody had put this out there. So that is up in this corner, up here in the upper left-hand corner on the screen. Gentleman is Brad. That is the bio mom's husband, and that's bio mom next to that guy. Cross is the fiance of Rebecca Parks, the guy with the glasses at the top. What I did find out is he used to date Courtney, the bio mom. Very bizarre. So the stepfather or the husband of the bio mom, he is a convicted pedophile. The fiance, who has gone to jail for drugs, is also a convicted pedophile. There's another roommate, convicted pedophile. Um, I don't understand what's with all the sex offenders that these people are spending time with. So I just want to make that clear. This is insane. So there's that. Well, now we're going to go to our next segment. Um, So, from Michigan's silent woods to California's bustling Central Valley, another innocent gathering shattered by gunfire. Stockton, a city of 320,000 people, known for its resilience amid poverty and gang strife, became a headline for all the wrong reasons on November 29th, 2025. So, what was meant to be a joyful toddler's birthday bash turned into the deadliest mass shooting in San Joaquin County history. 4 lives stolen, 3 of them children, 13 wounded. So let's start to unpack this chaos. So picture this: over 100 people, friends and family, cram into a banquet hall on the 1900 block of Lucille Avenue near Thornton Road. Just outside Stockton city limits, it's a 2-year-old's big day. Balloons bob, laughter echoes, the cake's ready to be cut. The host, Patrice Williams, later told the AP she mistook the first pops for balloons bursting. Then all hell broke loose. Masked gunmen, likely multiple per Sheriff Patrick Withrow, stormed in around 6 p.m. Shots rang out inside, spilling chaos outdoors. Bullets riddled walls, the roof where shell casings later turned up, and partygoers dove for cover, trampled in panic. One dad yelled, "Run, kids, first." The barrage lasted minutes but felt eternal. 3 children, ages 8, 9, and 14, and a 21-year-old man were killed on site. 11 others wounded, 1 critically. No arrests as of December 6th. The shooters remain at large. So the fallen. Oh, God. 8-year-old Journey Rose. Yeah, I cannot pronounce her entire name, so I'm going to say it wrong. I apologize now. Journey Rose, Rio Tudor Guerrero, and Maya Lupian, both full of life and dreams. Let's see if we can find. That is one, and that is the other. Let's see here. Maya was a student at Apex Academy, remembered as heartbroken by her school. 14-year-old Amari Peterson, whose dad, Patrick, tearfully described trying to stop the bleeding. I held him, begging him to stay. And got a little video here of him talking to CBS News about this party.
My son is in here dying. It's little girls. It's people in here laying down like hit. So I'm like, where are the police at? They like, oh, they outside. They don't want to come in because they think there's somebody in here. I'm like, think there's somebody in here. So then, like, the girl came and she was like, you got to put pressure on. You got to put pressure on the wound. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to put pressure on it. Then she come and put pressure on it. And then they was like, you got to give him CPR. So I start blowing on him, and blood just the blood just kept the blood. Oh God. The blood just kept coming out his face, and I'm like, man. So I just started trying to give him CPR, and the girl started pumping on his chest, but I'm trying to keep something over his chest. And then the police come running through the door with their guns, acting like they superheroes, but everybody in here hitting. They running out the back door where all the kids went. All the people that's trying to survive then ran out the back. Y'all chasing somebody who ain't even out here like hurting nobody. I'm like the kid.
Now, if you see the full interview with that man, it is beyond heartbreaking. He talks about how it was almost Sophie's choice because when the shooting rang out, he has 4 children. He has a baby, like a 1-year-old, um, another daughter, another son, and then the 14-year-old Amari who was killed. And he said when the bullets rang out, he had to choose between the baby and the 14-year-old, and he ran for the baby because she was closer. And then when he got over to Amari, he'd already been hit. So that man's gonna go through the rest of his life, um, blaming himself for why his son's dead. So, and the 4th victim, the 4th, person who died from that shooting was 21-year-old Susano Archuleta, and that's this gentleman here. A good kid there for a friend's family, per his Aunt Patricia Flores. Wounded included anti-violence activist Jasmine Della Fosse, who devoted her life to safer streets, now fighting for her own. The 2-year-old birthday girl survived unharmed, a small mercy in the madness. First responders rushed in amid screams, hospitals overflowed. Sutter Health in Modesto treated 3 adults alone. Stockton PD arrested 5 unrelated suspects miles away on weapons charges. A grim coincidence, not connected. Sheriff Withrow called it absolutely heartbreaking, urging tips, videos, even rumors. Mayor Christina Fugazi labeled it group gang violence, although unconfirmed. Deputy Mayor Jason Lee raged someone went to a birthday party and shot people's children. Vigils lit up Lucille Avenue that night. Prayers, tears, demands for change. Burna Boy even offered to cover funeral costs, a beacon in the grief. And no suspects ID'd, but detectives eye a targeted hit on a partygoer. 2 parolees at the event, Luciano Guerrero and Billy Williams, faced court for violations, not the shooting. Williams recounted the terror from jail, shots everywhere, kids screaming. This marks the 17th mass killing in the U.S. this year, the lowest since 2006, yet no less devastating. Governor Newsom was briefed, hearts broken for Stockton, and call San Joaquin Sheriff's tip line 209-468-4400. These weren't statistics. These were daughters, sons, brothers, friends. Mari's dad said a kid's party at that. Stockton's fighting back, but gun violence shadow looms overhead large. 2 tragedies, 1 brutal truth. Evil can strike anywhere, but so can compassion. Honor Rebecca, her baby, and Stockton's loss by speaking out. Check links below for victim funds and hotlines. But what do you think? Share in the comments, but keep it respectful. Like, subscribe to Red True Crime for more, and stay safe out there. But I will say this, Rebecca Park's case is unbelievably sad. Um, it was like she was just surrounded by people who just weren't there for her. And it's to the point now in California or anywhere that a children's party is not even safe. What is wrong with people? Those kids didn't ask to be shot up. They were there for a party. You're gonna sit there and tell me that grown adult business couldn't have waited until after the party and those kids were no longer there? I don't get it. It is beyond heartbreaking. And those poor people, those poor kids, pray for all of them. If you see the GoFundMe's, donate, speak out. And if you know something, say something because nobody deserves any of this. So, this is Rebecca with Red True Crime. I am done for tonight. Thank you for tuning in. And please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. And as I always say, be weird, be rude, and be safe.